everybody, welcome back to Sparky About Movies. I really hope you've had a great week and your weekend is just as great. Before we get into the video, please follow me on the rest of my socials, my Instagram and my Twitter, where I post more daily horror content. Today's video is going to be a ranking of all 12 Ghostface Killers. Scream is a timeless slasher. Multiple people have dared to wear the mask, envisioning their own legacy, but they've always been outsmarted. Let's talk about those who were instantly memorable and those who were easily forgettable. Starting off pretty low, Ethan Landry. He tried and failed to be anything but useless. Even his father couldn't amount to anything. As a somewhat outcast of the group, he became a suspect quite early on, having alibis for almost every one of the attack scenes. Mindy brought this up, but he brushed it off. How could the shy boy possibly pull any of this off? His character is boring and lacks what Ghostface should bring. Scream 6 gave it a go, from switching it up to 1, 2, 3 killers, but the only takeaway really is that one of them is for sure an afterthought. In the ritual of secondary killers, Charlie is as forgettable as they come. Desperately trying to be the Stu to Jill's Billy, he is more of a knockoff Randy, all without the humour and or charm. Of course, he is a brutal killer. His mutilation of Olivia is arguably one of the most graphic kills in the franchise. Once he's unmasked though, he's just this pathetic, inevitable obstacle Jill has to overcome in order to reach stardom. Next up, we have Wayne Bailey, who was quite easy to guess as Ghostface. If you think about it, using a gun in the bodega scene, smartly escaping, leaving behind the right amount of clues, and changing the body double with Quinn. It was all acts with somebody in the know, and having somebody with such esteemed authority was pretty out-the-box thinking for Scream. It's too bad his acting let him down. In a not-so-subtle nod to Scream 2, we see a parent desperately seeking revenge against the girl who killed their son. It was a cool parallel, but the theatrics and desperation was all I could see. Next, Quinn Bailey. Faking your death to get one up on everybody is overused, and it did play out well, caught me off guard. However, her reveal was undermined and quite effortless. Considering the other female Ghostfaces we have seen who reached that level of wide-eyed crazy rage, she never really reaches that. Her motivation and revenge techniques are quite basic, which just makes her basic. Sorry, Quinn fans. Next up, Richie Kirsch. The boy was fantastic at throwing people off his scent, but Dewey, he knew. Being so eager to flee Woodsboro, hating horror movies, and so concerned about the danger they were in, he seemed like a good guy in the wrong place at the wrong time. It was all an act though, of course. He was the mastermind behind it all. His motive for me was quite weak though. Killing because you're angry at a movie? Imagine if entire fandoms just started dressing up as their favourite psychos and went on a killing spree. I admired the effort to highlight toxic fandoms, but it just fell short for me. It was perfect timing and certainly pissed the right people off, but it just felt dumb. Next up is Mickey, Scream 2's secondary killer. He was fun, he had the charm, and he knew a lot about movies, but when the climax happens, with Nancy Loomis's big reveal, he just becomes overshadowed and basically non existent. Throughout Scream 2, though, I knew who he was because he had the camera, he knew about Derek, he never was there when Ghostface was, and of course, he wore the plaid t shirt. I loved his bravery. He just seemed to be so careless or carefree about everything. He didn't care if he got caught or anything, did he? I loved Mickey's kind of approach to the character, but it's too bad about the big reveal. It just took the spotlight away from him a bit. Next up we have Miss Amber Freeman. Slashers are known for their knives to be slicey and dicey, so when she pulls out that gun, casually, shooting Liv in the head to welcome everybody into Act 3, wow. The coolest killer reveal, and it was done so smoothly. But were we surprised? I don't think so. She was notably cold and observant, and radiated sinister vibes. She claimed to be brainwashed and victimized, but she was a psycho. Her decimation of Dewey will haunt us for probably the rest of our lives. Bitch. Next up, Nancy Loomis. I wish I could just not put her on this list because she killed Randy, but her reveal is indefinitely iconic. She came out of nowhere. Billy's mom, what are you doing here? Her frantic energy, emotional instability, and wide-eyed rage was thrilling. She used every tool at her disposal to completely eviscerate the girl who butchered her Billy. The standoff was exhilarating and just probably one of the best. Next up is Stu Macker. Scream would lack so much passion if they didn't have his energy. Stu came in with such an awesome dark comedic energy that made a really big lasting impression on the fandom then and still to this day. Even though he was a secondary killer, he was just excellent. There was no second best with him. Stu was just phenomenal, and the fact that he almost wasn't cast as Stu just blows my mind because I couldn't imagine anybody else playing that role so perfectly. Coming in number 3 now, we have Jill Roberts. Now, it took me a while to see the plausibility in her character. I thought the motive she had was pretty dumb. But for that era, self-obsession and needing only fans and dying for your 5 minutes of fame, it was very relevant, and you have to admire the tenacity and determination she had for her plan to succeed, going so far as to beat herself up. Scream have teased Sydney behind the mask, the final girl becomes the killer. They played it off very well with Jill, and I don't think anybody saw it coming. Next up is Scream 3's Roman Bridger. Now, I know Scream 3 wasn't loved by a lot of people. It was in fact condemned the worst of the bunch, with many fans not enjoying the half-brother trope or the humour. But I enjoyed Roman Bridger. I enjoyed how unsuspecting he was, like, whatsoever. The fact he orchestrated it all himself. He was the only one killer. faking his death, framing himself, and still having his big reveal at the end. I thought it was just all a big triumph. And also, his opening scene with the voice modulator, I just thought that was a very cool upgrade. First place, obviously, belongs to Billy Loomis. You can't be surprised. Skeet is undeniably charming, effortless as the bad boy, and embodies Billy Loomis almost to perfection. You know straight away he's dangerous. You can clearly understand why Sydney fell in love with him. But also, you're not dumb. You know she needs to get away from him. Her intuition saved her once, but those seductive eyes and cute smile reeled her back in to her almost death. Luring her into a false sense of security just proves that when a person looks dangerous, they are. And sometimes those closest to you do not have your best interests at heart. There we go, guys. We have come to the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed my ranking of the Ghostface Killers. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button and comment down below. If you would like to see any more videos on Scream, please comment some suggestions. I would love to hear from you. Until my next video, guys, please stay safe, stay happy, and stay healthy. Bye.